Today I'm going to show you how to restore your S14 headlights. So this is typical. I just wiped it with Windex. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 800 grit, move to 1000, then move to 1500 grit, then 2000, 2500, and 3000 grit. When we're done with that process, our headlights will look like this, and then we'll put some clear coat on them, and then they'll really shine and look new. First grit, 800. Forgot to mention the bucket of water. It's very important that you're wet sanding and you move in a circular pattern. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go back and forth, because then that'll put streaks in the lights. So you keep a circular pattern. That way if you do put scratches in your lenses, they're not all in one direction. And it just gives it a better shine and helps it look better overall. So you can see that brown and yellow. We're already starting to remove the yellow from the lenses. They're already starting to look better. S14 headlights are really easy to restore compared to other headlights. And when I say restore, I mean to, like new surface finish. I tried the same thing on my wife's Hyundai, but those lenses are made out of some kind of shitty plastic and they just weren't having it. So we've worked through the 800 grit, and you gotta go until you stop feeling resistance. It'll kind of smooth out, and then keep going until all the yellow is gone. But if you just do it with the 800 grit, you wipe the lens, and that looks a little hazy. So that's where we'll take the 1000 grit, get the 800 grit scratches out, the 1500 grit, we'll get the 1000 grit scratches out, so on and so forth, all the way up to 3000 grit. So let's continue with the 1000 grit. 1000 grit, let's go. Thousand grit, pretty much done. Let's wipe it. Looking a little better, but still pretty hazy. Let's move to 1500. 1500, done. Let's wipe it and see what we're dealing with. A little clearer, but still pretty hazy. So eventually you'll see the scratches go away, which is the point we're at now. But this haze, so you gotta polish that haze out. Alright, let's move to 2000 grit. Now that 2000 grit, you can see that haziness starting to clear up, especially when it's wet. So that wet look, you get a glimpse of what it's going to look like when you apply the clear coat. So when you start sanding up to the next grit, you'll feel that initial resistance. And then as you sand the light down, the resistance gets lower and lower and lower until it's a nice smooth back and forth motion, very little resistance, and then you go with that for a while until you're ready to move to the next grit. So it's pretty smooth. It's been going at it for a while. I think we're about ready to move to 2500 grit. See, they're still hazy, but a lot less hazy. All the yellows is gone. So 2500 up to 3000 grit, and then clear coat. Give us a nice finish. There we go. Now we're getting results with that 3000 grit. See how nice, crisp, and clear that headlight is? That 3000 grit, that's what we're looking for. So this wetness is a preview of what the headlight's going to look like once we apply the clear coat. So I'll just polish it a little more with this 3000 grit, and then we'll move to clear coat application. 3000 grit, let's give it a wipe and see what it looks like dry. So it's pretty clear and pretty polished, even completely dry. So that's what we're looking for right there. That is just beautiful, just beautiful. Let's clear. So we're going to use 3M Quick Headlight Clear Coat. I've used this before. It's a wipe-on clear coat. I'm using it because it works. It dries smooth and bubble-free. Some of the rattle can clearers eat the plastic. I don't want to take that risk. This doesn't. I used them on my M3 headlights and checked out pretty well. So let's see what they do on this 240SX headlights. All right. The first thing I want to do is wipe around the edges. You gotta very gently wipe. You'll leave a little bubbles, but you can see it applying the clear from the wipe. And then you go across the lens, and I like to swipe one way, make sure I get complete coverage, and then you can see the nice gloss film. And that's it. That's all it is to wipe on the headlight clear. So now let's do the other one. Wipe around the outside. Get some fresh clear. I'll unfold it, bring it over like this so I can get the clear that's on the inside of the wipe. Wipe around the outside of the light. And then we'll go same thing, just wipe one direction. There you go. You can see the clear being applied. And you want to do light pressure and drag it across, because if you're too heavy with it, it'll actually wipe the clear off and not leave the clear behind. So we'll go over it real good, make sure there's no streaks or any places you need to touch up again. That looks pretty good, so we're going to let it dry.